Hello again. Aquarius, it's September 2015. I'm Dadhichi Toth from astrology.com.au. For those of you that are new, welcome. Hope I can throw some light on what's happening in your horoscope. Just a brief analysis, but I think the important transit that's taking place right now is the one of Saturn out of that pivotal 10th house, professional house, house of self-esteem and one's ego development. That's an important transit that takes place on the 18th after 2.5 years of really putting the pressure on you in your work, adding more responsibility, and especially recently with Mars there in the 7th house, that right angle. That's been tough, and that's going to get a little bit tougher too, because Mars is the faster moving planet and hasn't yet caught up to the degree that Saturn is in. But it's nice to know that whatever pressures and restrictions you've been feeling there in your professional life should start to abate after that date. Now, mind you, Saturn is continually moving, so just because we see it leaving this area of your life doesn't mean it's finished its work. It will continue now to do work in a completely different area of your life. I'm going to talk about that over the coming months and couple of years, because this is going to be one of the important transits, given that Saturn is one of your ruling planets. Saturn and Uranus rule you. Saturn is the old ruler. I take that to be the more significant ruler based upon my Vedic astrological leanings. And moving to the 11th house after this date indicates a very strong review of your friendships. The friendships that you have assumed to be loyal and rock solid may in fact start to be anything but that. So you'll be looking at that. The 11th house also has to do with your life goals as a whole. So you'll be taking a look at those areas of your life and reappraising them, seeing whether or not that's actually what you want to do, whether those goals are serving you. What those goals were 10 years ago will obviously shift now and be very, very different. The experiences that you've had since will be reshaping your view of the world, your view of yourself, and your view of relationship. Saturn was in this same position around 29.5 to 30 years ago. Of course, you've changed since then, but you can get a quick little glimpse into what's likely to happen by going back and seeing what the circumstances around you were at that time. This will give you a little bit of a snippet. And now too, the retrogression of Venus is important. If we talk about relationships, Venus, the 4th and 9th ruler of your horoscope, an excellent planet. Generally, its retrogression is considered a good thing for those of you born under the sign of Aquarius. It's not so good having Mars in that area. You're in two minds. You know, you've got that combative element there. But could it be that, you know, taking the bull by the horns and asserting yourself in your relationships now is maybe exactly what you need to bring out the full flavour of Venus? In any case, the retrograde planets do tend to offer you the chance to look deeply at a matter, you know, and that retrogression will stop on the 6th. Give it a couple of weeks after that to make its knowledge fully known to you. But I think you're starting to get an insight into what it is you want, not just in terms of your professional life, but in terms of the partnerships, friendships, those one-on-one significant relationships. If you're married too, this will be a pertinent sort of transit. And Mars there is very, very combative. So fortunately, Venus there means you can go into combat and do it in such a way that's not offensive. I think that's important. You do have a strong communications transit this month too, with Moon commencing its transit and finishing its transit on the 28th in that same place on a lunar eclipse in the sign of Aries, which is the, I guess you'd call it the superficial mind, the communicative mind, communication, contracts, and that sort of thing. So I think this month is also important, given that the moon will locate itself there for an eclipse, that communication of all sorts is going to be important. You could run into a few hiccups there. Mercury's in the opposite part of the zodiac, and it will move into its retrograde motion on the 18th. This rules your 5th house of love affairs, and also the 8th house of sexual intimacy, emotional intimacy and self-transformation. So I don't think you can escape this whole romantic, intimate, sexual sort of need towards clarification this month, with Mercury doing that. As I said at the outset, for you, Mercury and Venus are positive planets. The retrogression of these two planets empowers them to do good. I think it would be a shame if you didn't communicate what it is you have to say to your partner. Jupiter and the Sun, inimical planets for you, are in the 8th house of sexuality. Right now we see Jupiter, the planet ruling your friendships, life desires, and also finances, in combustion. Combustion means the sun is burning it up. The rays of the sun are damaging Jupiter. It's not friendly in the sign of Virgo. It's not functioning too well in that 8th house. And it has the sun there, planet ruling your partnerships, damaging it. So we see here that even your shared finances can't escape this revisionary element that we see with the Sun and Jupiter in the 8th house. You've also got to be careful too. This combination will be, the Sun will move out of that area on the 23rd into the 9th house, but it will be replaced by Mars on the 25th. And this could make you very, very excessive in your seeking of pleasure. For example, sexuality. It's a very sinful position according to the Vedic astrologers. But you know what? It is a period of intense self-reflection, and you need to exhaust yourself of that. I never say don't experience. If that's something your desire nature is telling you to do, it may or may not be appropriate for you, but until you experience that, rather than allowing others to tell you what's right and wrong, you yourself need to experience that to tell you yourself to tell you whether it's right or wrong. Right or, I don't like the word right or wrong, appropriate or inappropriate. Pluto goes into direct motion in your 12th house. That's also tied in with this, because the 8th house is naturally ruled by Pluto, and Pluto's in the 12th house of what we call bed pleasures. Its direct movement there is going to intensify your need for sexual connections. If you're not having fulfillment in that area, you need to rectify that quickly. If there's been a disconnect with your spouse or your partner, sexual matters will be very, very strongly on the agenda this month. I said to you that the moon, the lunar eclipse on the 28th, occurring in your 3rd house, seems to be the key to solving some of these problems. So communication is the key. I hope you can open the gateway to understanding with whoever it is you need to find peace with, because that will be the way to do it. I hope to see you here again next month. That's going to be October. In the meantime, check out the daily, monthly and yearly textual readings we have for you at the site, astrology.com.au. You can subscribe here, tell your friends, tell everyone. If you need more personal attention to specific matters, you can have a personal reading, consultation with me, or any number of our associated psychics and practitioners. Look forward to your company next month. Bye-bye now.